Should we be like, hi guys?
Yeah.
Should we do?
Wait, yeah. Hey guys!
Hey guys!
So we're gonna... Today we're gonna be talking about how we met as friends and also how our experiences are like as Filipino Americans and our travels. It's kind of like for us to remember how 2019 was like.
Yeah, it's a little about us.
Yeah.
And we can reflect on it in the future and hopefully you guys enjoy it.
Yeah. We have a surprise.
We have food. We went to
Vinlo Tofu.
Vinlo Tofu. And we have these bowls.
We have ham rolls.
It smells really yummy. Basically, we're doing this time journal so we have something to look back on.
We're both 18 years old right now, so...
Yeah, we're about to go to college.
Well, you started college.
I already started college.
These are the ham rolls, and I recommend this. Shout out to Kevin and Mimi Tran. 1, 2, 3. Mmm.
Mm-hmm. This is really good. It's so refreshing.
And doesn't it taste like ham?
Mm-hmm. So our first topic is gonna be, how did you guys meet? We had creative writing together and we didn't really talk that much in like first semester, would you say?
No, like not even first semester at all.
Yeah, right?
This is our senior year.
Yeah, and there's not many people in that class. Like there's probably about like 16 or 17 people and somehow we never talked.
We sat on the other side of a room,
Yeah.
so we just never had the opportunity to talk.
Yeah, like I knew who you were obviously.
And I knew who you were.
Yeah, and I liked your writing, but I never went out of
Me too.
my way to like say something to you, which is weird.
Yeah. Me too.
We're not like shy people either, which is really weird that we didn't meet before. But when we did meet, we got like really close, like kind of right away. And I feel like a lot was happening at once because it was near the show. Then we bonded over the fact that like she was going to the Philippines and I had just went to the Philippines. Which was also like weird because I went to the Philippines right before we started our rehearsals and stuff.
She was in the Philippines on a 2-week vacation, and this was like in like March of this year.
Yeah.
So like we literally only like got to really know each other this year.
And it was a random time to like leave. But I knew it was like the only opportunity to go before I turned like 18. Because you went like, you left on your birthday, right?
Yeah, I left as a celebration for my 18th birthday.
What is our second topic? Do we still write?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Because you're kind of a blogger.
Well, you are too.
Yeah, I have my Instagrams. We have our Instagram stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
So we write that. But I haven't wrote like as much. You know how I used to write like short stories?
But it's cool. It's like you do your own genre. It's nice.
Oh, thank you.
Check her pieces out if you can. I don't know if you don't even post that.
Yeah, I should probably post, like publish my writing.
It's refreshing, right?
It's really good. Okay, let's see. The next question is, what was our experience in the Philippines?
The first word I can think of is hot and humid.
Yeah.
Because there's no seasons there. It's always hot in terms of the weather.
Yeah, and I went like at a hot time, but I feel like the time you went was probably even hotter, to be honest.
I experienced a typhoon in the Philippines, and that was by far the craziest travel experience I've ever had. We were on a bus to go from one city to the other, and it was kind of a 2-hour drive. Not only was there a typhoon, so it was windy and raining outside, but there were no seats on the bus. So I had to stand for 2 straight hours on the bus while it's just raining hard and the driver's driving on the freeway. And I'm like freaking out, you know? There's so many things happening, and then I just look around and like people are just like on their phones. Like the way that earthquakes are here in California is the way that typhoons are there in the Philippines. It's super common for them. I was freaking out. I was with my mom, so when we stopped, we arrived at our destination, but we had to walk across the highway to get to the other side of the street where we had to go. It was just crazy because there were no street lights. We only had our umbrellas. It was super windy too. We had to hold tight onto the umbrellas. But luckily, we were there safe and sound.
You didn't die?
I didn't die. I'm still here, thank God.
I didn't experience anything like that, which I'm kind of thankful for, to be honest. But what's weird is when you were gone, like we had earthquakes here. You missed one natural disaster for another.
Because I already experienced an earthquake, the world was like, have her experience a typhoon.
I don't know if you want to talk about this, but like the sanitation and like is very different. That's the clean way to put it. We value different things, so they're very minimal, like minimalist, I guess you could say.
In the malls, sometimes I would go in the bathroom and it's semi-clean, but sometimes there wouldn't be any toilet paper, or sometimes there wouldn't be any paper towels or no soap. That was really an adjustment for us, both of us. I think. The things that we see here that are basic necessities,
it's not a necessity there.
It's not. Like they have different priorities.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Like one of the churches that I visited, there was like a bathroom, right? The woman was just like, I don't know what she was doing, filling up the paper towel stuff. But since you're using a paper towel there, you have to leave a tip. Yes.
For her to do that?
Yes, no, like she stood at the edge of the door waiting for the tip.
And the tip was mandatory?
Yes. To use the bathroom, you had to like tip them. They think giving you napkins and like soap and a toilet that flushes is like, they're like giving you a gift. So they're like, we want to be exchanged, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I just feel like cleanliness in the Philippines is not as prioritized as here.
They're more like in survival mode, if that makes sense.
I definitely agree with that. Like, because sadly, since the Philippines is a third world country, resources are scarce there. Scarce. Not only Philippines, but just third world countries. Like, it's kind of saddening. That's why I think for us, you know, we're both 18 years old, and for us to travel to places like these opens our eyes to the world. It's a privilege for us to do this, so.
Yeah, like we both said from our experience there, we felt like we came back as different people. Like we had very like eye-opening experiences, even though it's just like their everyday life. Since we're like American and we're not used to that, it was really eye-opening.
So you know like those people who are like the street police, who like control the street traffic? Here it would be like, you know, a person does this and they come here and then like they have this hand signal thing. Like it's very clear. In the Philippines, partially because it's so hot and humid and partially because it's not a very entertaining job, the policeman, instead of doing like this, because you know this signal's like come here, this is like this. And he's just controlling the traffic like, it's like he's swapping flies.
That's so funny. Yeah, and like while we're on that topic, driving in the Philippines is like a completely different experience. Like I feel like if you can drive there, you can drive anywhere.
Traffic is insane.
Yes,
LA traffic is nothing compared to the Philippines.
Yeah, exactly. And like they drive so like crazy. Like they do really close calls. Like you know, like they're really risky with their driving. They don't get in as many accidents, which is weird too.
I think the reason why is because everyone goes slower, drives slower. So because of that, there's less accidents, ironically.
Yeah. Every time we would like change lanes or something, like my heart was like beating so fast. I'm like, am I gonna die?
You said you had a private driver, right? You didn't use Grab?
Yeah. And it's funny because the private drivers, they actually don't get paid that much. But what's different, what like shows Zara like hospitality and stuff, is we would always like, say we go to a restaurant, we don't just leave them in the car, they come out with us and they eat a meal with us and we pay for it. So it's kind of interesting. It's like they're more like a cousin or that uncle that like drives you around. In the Philippines, they always refer to each other like as family members in some way. Like,
yeah, like hey tita.
Tita, yeah.
Or like Lola.
Back then, I used to always think like when I was younger, I'm like, are we really related to all of these people? And I found out like, no, like we're not.
Our experiences in the Philippines have shown us the Filipino culture, and a big part of that is family.
Yeah.
Like Filipinos, well us, we are very family oriented. I mean, at least the culture is. I feel like a common Filipino thing is they would get together for holidays no matter what. Like if something happens, like it should always be together. During the holidays, like if there is a get together, this is what my family likes to call Filipino time. A lot of people are often late.
Yes, that is so true.
Yeah.
Filipinos are always late. I don't know why.
Yeah, like
it's like in our blood.
How late is your family usually? Like how many
we're like
hours?
40 minutes to an hour late.
That's better. My family's like can be 2 to 3 hours late.
Wow.
So
like, that's crazy.
I guess it varies.
There's this joke and it's like, if you're having a Filipino party, like tell everyone to arrive like on time and say your party is at like 5, tell them 3.
Yeah.
And then like they'll actually.
So there's this term called chismis or chismosa, which is gossip, because Filipinos like to gossip about
a lot, other families, like their family, everything.
Like the drama.
That's why they love the Filipino channel so much, because it's like all drama shows. Another part about family too is like like what we said about obedience and like loyalty. Your family, like they expect you to be very like obedient.
It's a pro because, well, it's kind of an Asian thing, like obedience to elders, but the con is like sometimes
they're wrong.
sometimes they're wrong and sometimes they suppress children.
And that can like result in more harmful things like later. Like if you suppress people's emotions. My very Filipino family, they don't talk about their feelings.
No, yeah, that's so common.
Yeah, and they don't really talk about
Filipinos do
what's
not.
happening.
Yeah.
Like someone will be sick in the family and like you won't hear about it until they're better. And I'm like, huh? They were ever sick?
They were sick? Like,
yeah, and it's like,
yeah.
wait, this is so serious. Like I'm like,
sometimes
what?
like if someone travels out of the country, it's like, oh, they're back. It's like, when did they leave?
They left. Like we're really horrible at spreading news. Or like maybe they just
Not
don't tell
even-
us. They just don't tell everyone. Communication
Yeah.
skills, like no.
I know.
No, we don't have any.
My Filipino mom, when she's trying to give directions, it's a disaster. she's like, that one over there. And I'm like, which one, mom? Which type of ketchup do you want? Do you want the Heinz? Do you want the...
Yeah.
She's like, dito, there. Like,
It's so funny.
just the simple things like that is like...
My dad was at my college. He was lost and I was trying to like redirect him. I'm like, what building are you at? And he literally goes like, oh, it's just a building, you know, and it has this thing.
With
and-
windows.
Yeah, and I'm like, what do you mean? How can I locate you?
Yeah, when they describe something, it's very like vague.
Some of them aren't on purpose, but like
Yeah.
some of them when you're like say you're like, hey, what happened? Like, were you guys fighting? They'll just be like, nah. And I'm like, what? Someone answer.
I know what you mean.
I hate that.
No,
It's-
yeah,
it's really common.
it's really common, and I wish it wasn't.
I know. And then you have to like brush it off and just be like, okay. That was
Yeah.
my answer, I guess.
So like a huge priority, which can be good and bad, is that Filipinos value being financially stable above all.
Above all.
We're not trying to be stereotypical, but this is just like what we notice. People will choose out of their way to get which job makes the most money rather than what makes them happy.
Yeah, being creative and like being artistic and stuff, a lot of like traditional Filipinos see that as like a waste of time. They'd rather make money and be like, I have a roof like over my children's head than spend time like with their actual like children.
Exactly.
And like create bonds with them, which is really weird because
It's
kind
weird
of,
to us, right?
It's so weird to us, yeah.
They think it's normal. It's so weird.
Yeah, 'cause we think it's like backwards. We value
quality time over making more money. But the reason why it's the other way around there is because since like money and there's a lack of resources and it's scarce, like that's why they value money more, kind of.
what other recent travels have we done?
I went to Bali
And then I went to Singapore, so we basically did like an Asia world tour.
like a Southeast Asia.
Yes.
It's weird because the timing of how we met, we bonded over like travels to the same area of the world.
It's really like surprising actually, because like the timing was so weird. We were like in the same class and somehow like decided to talk about that too. Some conversations just like don't get brought up and you guys might have similarities, but like you just will never know about it. It's weird because I don't even know how we brought up the fact that because I told you I was Filipino. You didn't know I was
That's
Filipino.
why. I think that's what opened it up. I was like, oh, you're Filipino.
Yeah, something
then-
like that.
Yeah, and then like,
And then I was like, yeah, I'm going.
yeah, to
And
the
then you're like,
Philippines.
I'm going too.
Yeah, so then
Yeah,
that's
it
how
was something like
opened up.
that.
Yeah.
So talk about your time in Bali.
Yeah, you're right. So Bali was really cool. It was an amazing, magical experience that those are one of the countries I would want to go back. What's really popular there are the rice fields. It was just so beautiful. It's kind of more jungly there, so there was even a monkey forest that we got to visit, and that was so awesome. I'm an animal lover, so there was a lot of differences. Like people ride a lot of scooters there, so it's definitely different than the Philippines because Filipinos have jeepneys and tricycles.
Yes.
So it makes it seem more third world than it is.
Yeah.
Whereas Bali, like they have nothing of that. I feel like it's a lot cleaner in Bali because
Makes sense.
even just like, oh my gosh, also the food was just so different. Oh my god. For me personally, it was like vegan paradise. I found like an all vegan buffet. There's stuff like that. There's like a smoothie bowl place everywhere you look at, every corner, every block. And not to mention tempeh is originated from Indonesia, so even the local food I could eat.
But the thing is, guys, like even the vegan food she was having in Bali, like it looked amazing. Like even if you're not vegan, like I really wanted to try it. I'm
Yeah.
literally gonna go there and go
You
to
gotta
the
go to Bali.
buffet that you went to.
Yeah, and in terms of prices, they were pretty equal in prices of living. Both really cheap. If you want like quality of life, definitely Bali beats it more than the Philippines. I'm sorry to say, but like even just when you eat food outside, there's no flies swarming in your area. Whereas in the Philippines, it's hard for some reason. It's kind of dirty.
So I went to Singapore right before I went to the Philippines, which is like a complete contrast and kind of very different from Bali too, because Bali is like very spiritual.
Also, I could say that it's more rural, whereas Singapore is very urban.
Singapore, it's not like they're not religious or anything, but it's very businessy. And it's so like modern. You know, Bali is like more spiritual and like jungly. They're both beautiful in their own way.
Also, Bali is Hindu, whereas like 90% of Indonesia is Muslim. I got to visit Yogyakarta for 5 days just to see another side of Indonesia. And it's definitely different, like, than Bali. I really like Bali in that sense that it was unique out of the rest of the country. So,
that's so true. You know what? I actually think Singapore is like very Muslim too.
Singapore?
Yeah, because it's close to Malaysia, which I think is like...
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and so a lot of Malaysians move there.
Oh yeah, that's the difference. Philippines is all Catholic or Christian.
Yeah, because we were like all converted.
We converted because of the Spanish conquistadors. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. They have like really intricate like butterfly gardens, and their architecture is like crazy. Like you know Marina Bay Sands with the, it's like the skateboard connecting the buildings, and the whole top part is a pool.
Singapore is like a rich country.
Yeah, that's where they filmed
Crazy Rich Asians.
So that was really fun too, because on the way, like on the plane, I watched Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh really?
Yeah, and then when I got there, I was like, I felt so like bougie.
You felt,
it was really not that. But also, it was way too hot. It was really way
Singapore?
too hot. Yes.
Is it hotter than the Philippines or not?
Hotter.
And people in business suits, how do they do that?
Yeah, I know. And everyone, like, their fashion is so good. Like, I don't know how to say it. It's very designer. Like, they have Gucci and like Prada, and they really like prize it. I don't know why.
They're very focused on vanity.
Yeah, they are. Vanity, beauty, like modeling, and I feel like that stuff is really popular in Singapore.
Singaporean people can be beautiful.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, they are beautiful.
Filipinos are beautiful too.
All Asians are beautiful.
It's true.
That's our... If there's one thing to get from this video, all Asians
are beautiful.
But I forgot to say, in Bali, in terms of the weather, it was not as hot as the Philippines, which I was really surprised about.
The Philippines is a pretty big contrast to Singapore, because I feel like people intentionally walk around in Singapore just to show off their outfits, if that makes sense. Which is crazy, right? And I feel like in that way, it's kind of similar to Dubai. Have you heard of like, they walk around with tigers in Dubai to like show off their wealth and stuff like that?
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like it's almost similar to that, and they like really pride themselves on being the most like innovative, like very green like country.
I mean, Singapore is like the cleanest, one of the cleanest areas in the world, actually.
Yeah, and it's so safe too.
Bubblegum is banned.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That's like the most well-known thing about Singapore, right? And it's so crazy. When I got off the plane, they give you this thing, and it's like a reminder ticket that drug trafficking is punishable by death.
I didn't know
and that freaked me out. Not that I like have any drugs, do any drugs. I was like,
they have signs of that?
No, they give it to you. Like, you know how you have to do
the little thing.
Yeah.
Actually, in Indonesia, Bali, like they have a really big death penalty with drugs as well. It's not as like publicized as that.
Yeah. Like, and the Philippines, I feel like they're very direct about it.
They are.
Because like who our president is right now. It's really interesting to see how all like the different like factors of like fashion, health, and everything connect to all the Asian countries.
Southeast Asia is just so interesting because they're all neighboring countries, but every culture is so different that it makes it seem like another part of the world.
When you go to Asia for the first time, I feel like I really like cannot shut up about Asia now. Like I love it. I love it more than ever now. Like, do you feel that too?
No, actually both of us, we thought when we were little, Europe was the place to be.
Yeah.
Like that was our dream place.
Yes.
But now like as we grow up, we see the beauty of Asia.
Yeah, of our own like place.
Of our own place, yeah.
I don't know, you never think about it. Like when you're younger, I guess you more admire like, what's not you.
Exactly.
What's not you.
We want the things that we don't have.
And when we grow up and we mature, we realize like what we're born with is really amazing.
What we do have is like...
Yeah. That got deep.
That's a pretty deep concept. So that's kind of what we learned about ourselves, like through travel, actually.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to Thailand.
Yes, me too. I really want to go. And we plan to travel together in the future one day.
especially Philippines, because I want to show her Gramercy.
Yes.
So that's pretty much it what we have for today, just a little bit.
So thank you guys for watching.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Check her channel out, Ethereal
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching and
Bye.
peace out.